Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am back building in the world of Strangerville, and this time I am building a Victorian style house for my save file. And this is actually the last house that I have to do in this neighborhood, and I am really excited about it, but also kind of sad because I really like building here, so I'm definitely going to have to build here more even once my save file is completely finished, just because I really like it. The views are beautiful and like the colors, everything is just so nice. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be a house for George Cahill, I think is how you say his last name. He is an elder sim that came with the Strangerville pack, and he's actually the sim that lives on the plane crash site. And I really like the idea of having a plane crash, but I also really don't like that there's only 2 community lots in Strangerville, so I'm going to use his lot and turn it into another community lot. And so I decided just to move him over here in the Pinnacles, and I'm going to change up his story a little bit because the way he came, he is a sim that was flying over Strangerville, and he was like a retired pilot, and he just enjoyed flying his own private plane. And he happened to crash here in Strangerville and then turned his plane into a house. And I think that's a really cool idea, especially with the whole storyline of Strangerville, because he was apparently blinded by a light or something like that, and that's why he crashed. But I think I'm going to have him be in the military career. I don't know if I'll have him be retired or not. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to have him live here in this house with his wife and his son, and I think I'm just going to have it be like a plane crash story for him. So if you guys want to play with the line, like along the storylines that he did end up crashing his plane, maybe something happened to his wife and his son and he's just all alone. I don't know exactly how you guys want to go with it. I mean, that's totally up to you guys, but he is still going to have a family in my save file, and I actually really like that idea. I think it's going to be, I don't know, a little bit more interesting and better use of the world for me with having another community lot, because I just feel like 2 is just not enough. And I have some ideas for that lot, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will like it too. But anyways, I feel like I should probably mention my voice, because you could probably hear that I am a little bit sick, and it is a terrible time to be sick because I had already had like the busiest month of my entire life. I think I took about 2 weeks off in December, and now I'm finally just back and have nothing to do, and I am ill. It's so annoying, but I'm feeling much better. The last couple of days I kind of just took it easy. I built this house and didn't rush myself to do the voiceover because my voice, especially yesterday, was like completely gone. Today I'm more just a little bit stuffed up. My throat doesn't hurt nearly as much. I'm sure you guys don't want to hear all about my symptoms, but I'm sure you guys can definitely hear that I am not 100% today, but hopefully by tomorrow I'll be much better. And yeah, I spent some time trying to build in Oasis Springs for my save file. I have no community lots there. Well, that's not completely true. I did build a, if you guys remember it, when the bowling pack came out, a little while after that, I built a bowling alley / bar, and I built it for the desert area in the more like trailer park neighborhood of Oasis Springs, and I think I'm going to leave that there. So I have 1 community lot done for Oasis Springs, but I was trying to build things along that strip of community lots, but I was just really struggling, so I'm going to try to do that again. And also, I got a few questions asking about the pre-release of my save file. I'm still going to be doing that. I wanted to do it before the end of the year, but since I had such a busy month in December, I'm a bit behind with my plans, so it will be coming out probably sometime within the next couple of weeks. I just need to get a few things sorted, and in the meantime, I am trying to get a few more builds done because I am nowhere near I wanted to be when releasing my save file, at least for the first version. So, I mean, a lot of you guys have said that you don't mind that it's not going to be complete. I mean, eventually it'll be complete. I don't know when that's going to happen because they keep adding worlds, which I mean, of course, I don't have a problem with, because the more worlds and the more neighborhoods and the more lots, the better. Like, the variety is definitely needed, so I can't complain there. But when it comes to creating a save file, it's a big project. So yeah, I will be releasing an early version of it. I'm just going through and trying to make sure that everything is how I want it to be, making sure that things are play tested, because I do playtest my builds before I upload them to the gallery, but sometimes I miss things and I don't really want to do that with my save file. I really want it to be like a completed project and really well put together. So that's why I am behind after taking so much time off in December. So hopefully you guys understand. I know a lot of you guys are really eager for it. I am definitely eager to share it with you guys because I've done a lot of things that I'm really proud of and that I really like, and I'm excited for you guys to see, especially like, I don't know, like my townies and stuff. I think they're really well made. I've spent so much time in them. And then also all of my starter houses. I am in love with my starter houses. I'm going to be doing a separate video sharing my starter houses with you guys and going through them and kind of talking about them. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to say because I don't have any vision of what Sims live in them because they're just like empty houses that are like move-in ready. Oh, but I love them all so much. And I'm going to be doing videos on decorating them. I'm not sure if I'm going to rebuild them because I've done kind of a stupid thing. I should have recorded every single one of them, like the exteriors, because so far, in case you guys haven't heard of my starter houses before, I know I've talked about them a lot, so I'm sure most of you guys are probably sick of hearing them by now, but anyways, so yeah, I built these starter houses and they are completely finished exterior wise. Like they have all of the wallpaper colors, you know, the paint and stuff, and then it also has all of the landscaping. There's just no exterior decorations, so no furniture or playground equipment, anything like that. And then the interiors, there's the floor plan, and then like all of the appliances and counters. So the bathrooms have, you know, a shower or a toilet, bathtub, those types of things, and a sink, of course. And then there's also the kitchen appliances with the counters and those types of things. So it's just like a house that's move-in ready, and then you can move your Sims in there and then decorate it any way that you want to. And they are all under 20,000 simoleons, so if you want to move in there with one Sim or multiple Sims, then you can afford it. So I really liked that idea a lot, and I hope they're going to be fun to play with because I've spent so much time on them, and I love them so much. But yeah, I spent all this time building them, but I didn't record it. And looking back, I wish I would have. So let me know if you guys want me to rebuild the exteriors for a video and then go through and decorate them. Otherwise, I can just decorate them as they are and then record that and share it with you guys. So let me know what you are thinking about that, your opinions on it, because I'm not sure which way would be better, because I don't think they'd be too hard to rebuild because none of them are very big and I could just take screenshots and then copy it. So I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. So yeah, that's what I am thinking. But anyways, as you can see, the shape of this house is coming together. The house color scheme ends up being mostly brown. I do have some green on the interior. Each of these houses in this neighborhood I wanted to have a particular color scheme with. So the first one that I did is like a pink and purple and white probably. And then I did a blue and yellow one. And then I also did the one for the mayor and his wife. I think they're the Roswell family, if I remember correctly. Their house is like a red and cream color. And then I did one for the artistic household. I also forget their name, but their house is like a brown, and it's more of like an orange brown, like an orangey brown and green. So it's kind of similar to this one. I didn't want to repeat myself, but after I put this brown siding on this house, I couldn't help it. I thought it just looked so nice, and like the lighting, and I just fell in love with it. So I decided to go with it. But I think even though they're both kind of like a brown and green color scheme, they look totally different. So it didn't really bother me too much. And then here, moving on to the interior, working out the floor plan. The floor plan for this build actually came together really easily, and I was surprised because I was pretty worried about it because it's kind of a weird shape, and so I wasn't sure if it was going to come together that easily, but I think it did. The kitchen ends up being a really large kitchen, and at first I thought it was going to look pretty weird, but I think it actually worked out really nicely. And it ends up having 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and you could probably actually make more than that out of the bedrooms because they're pretty big. You'll see what I mean when we go on to the second floor. At least the kids' room is pretty large for just a single kid. I mean, you could probably put like 2 beds in there if you want to have multiple kids, but for the storyline, I decided to just leave it for 1 kid. And the other bedroom I decided to decorate as more of like a spare bedroom or like a guest bedroom. but it's also going to be used as the mom's office because I thought that it would be nice if she was a painter. Maybe she stays at home and then paints, or maybe she works outside of the home and just does painting as a hobby, or I'm not exactly sure. I'll still have to think how I want that to go, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty nice story. And then of course there's the master bedroom, and I was thinking that they had trouble conceiving because now George, he is an elder sim, and I think I'm going to leave him as an elder even though they're going to have a child. And I was thinking that maybe they just had trouble conceiving and they had a child later in life. Maybe the mom won't be that old. Maybe she'll just be an adult. I don't know. Let me know. Do you guys think she should be an elder too? I'm not exactly sure. Like, as I was building, I was trying to think of this, so my ideas are kind of a loose idea, but I think you guys probably get what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I think that they probably have some marital troubles because of all of their years of trying to conceive, and then maybe George has just worked a ton. I mean, he's in the military career, he's a pilot, I'm sure he's very busy, and I feel like recently especially he's became very distracted with work. You will see that I also create this area that's in the attic, and I make a little office space for him, and I make it very cluttered with lots of papers and stuff. And I think that he's just recently kind of retreated to that area of the house. He's doing a lot of research or maybe secret work for the government, and he's just kind of distanced, why can't I say that? He's distanced himself from his family, and he's just spent so much time, I guess, I don't know if he's behind all of the stuff that's going on in Strangerville or if he's trying to figure it out, but I feel like if he's going to work for the military career or work for the military, then I think he knows exactly what's going on. So I don't know, I really like that idea, especially with like introducing his wife and his son into this whole story. I think that could be a lot of fun. So let me know your guys' opinion on all of that and what you think I should do about his wife being an elder as well, or maybe you think I should make him a bit younger. But I think going along with the idea that they couldn't have any kids and they recently had, or not recently, but you know, they had one later on, I think it kind of adds to the whole like marital struggles that I was talking about. But anyways, here I'm moving on to the landscaping. I absolutely loved landscaping this house. At first, it was kind of hard to get started because I feel like this neighborhood is a little bit difficult to landscape. I don't know exactly why. I think it's the mixture of the cactus and like the greenery. Sometimes it looks like they don't necessarily go together, but since we have the live edit objects now, I was able to pull a lot more plants that you can see around in the neighborhood and make it look more cohesive, like this house was meant to be here. And yeah, I just basically used a variety of different greenery and cactus. I actually really like using these bushes that we got with Island Living. I use them around the majority of the exterior of the house, and I was wanting to make the foundation a little bit higher because I felt like the bushes were a little bit high considering the height of the foundation. But I don't think you will see it anywhere in the video. I think I cut all of that out. But for whatever reason, I couldn't raise the height of the foundation after I built the entire house. It was giving me some error code. Have you guys ever seen that? I don't know what was causing it. And of course, I didn't want to try to rebuild everything to figure it out. So maybe once it transfers to the gallery, if you guys want to change the height of the foundation, you'll be able to. But for whatever reason, I could not. So I don't know what the issue is. But either way, I still think it looks okay, even though I couldn't change the height of it. It's not that big of a deal, but yeah. Anyways, here you can see I'm just continuing with the plants around the exterior of the house. The backyard isn't huge. I did think about adding a swimming pool back here. 2 of the houses in this neighborhood do have swimming pools, and I think that's pretty nice for this world because it's a desert world. It's probably pretty hot most of the year and you'd want to be able to swim, but I didn't think it really suited this house. And so what I do instead is I have some monkey bars back here. I have a few planter pots so you can do a bit of gardening. But I also make this like pathway leading to a pond, and I use this pond that we got from Get Famous, and I don't actually think I've ever used it in a build before, and that's mostly because I haven't really found a great place to put it or like the right build to use it in. But this time I think it completely worked, and like I think it looks really good. I haven't played around with it yet though. You can actually have piranhas, you can have sharks or koi fish, like a few different types of animals. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, it just looks really nice back here. So you'll see here in just a moment, I placed it under the tree. At this point, I was still trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. As you can see, there's plenty of space if you do want to add a pool, but maybe I needed to add a deck or something. Placing the pool on the ground though just did not look right to me, and maybe if I would have fenced in the yard, it would have looked a little bit more, I don't know, natural or something, but I didn't think a fence would look that good on this lot. So I decided just to do this instead, and I created some pathway with this gravel, and I put an outdoor dining table back here with a barbecuer so you can, you know, have some barbecued food and whatever you would like to do. And here I'm just trying to figure out the tree situation. I used this giant cactus a couple of times. It looks so good. I did size it down back here though because it was a bit too massive, but yeah, this is basically what the backyard looks like. And here I'm just kind of framing in the pathways. I do go around and soften the edges of the gravel because it felt a bit too harsh. And I did notice actually when I was just going through all my screenshots, the pathway around the front, the pathway around the front does look a little bit kind of wonky. So I think I'm going to change that before uploading to the gallery because it didn't look as, I don't know. You guys probably won't notice. Maybe you will when you look at the screenshots, but it didn't look very even to me. So I'm going to fix it before uploading to the gallery because it was kind of bothering me a little bit. But here I'm just fixing the, what do you call this? It's not the freeze, is it? I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but those always cause so many problems. I'm not sure why they like never work quite right. But here I'm just softening the edges, adding a few more plants here in the front, just trying to make it look natural. And I also add a mailbox. I didn't really think this was like a great spot for the mailbox, but when I try to move it to the other side of the driveway or the pathway leading to the house, it just didn't look right to me either. But yeah, I still think it looks nice. And here I'm just lighting up the exterior, and this is basically how the house is going to look, and I just love it so much. I think the house ends up looking really like, it's such an interesting shape. I was looking actually on Pinterest and I found this remodeled version of the house from Practical Magic, I believe. So it's not a complete recreation of it. I just kind of took the inspiration of the angle that I saw on Pinterest. So yeah, that's a really pretty house. I've actually gotten a lot of requests to build that one. And I just watched that movie for the first time this year. I had never seen it before. So maybe for like next Halloween or something, I'll try to rebuild that house. I think that would be a lot of fun. So let me know if you guys like that idea. I've actually gotten a lot of requests to build things from movies and shows recently. I just built the house from Christmas Vacation, and that was a really fun build. I really enjoyed like watching the movie. I mean, I watch it every Christmas. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. And so going through and trying to recreate it in The Sims was really fun. And I've mentioned before that I did the apartments from Friends, and a lot of you guys are asking for me to do that again, so I am definitely thinking about that. And then I've gotten a ton of other requests that I'm really interested in too, and then a lot of requests that I have no idea because I actually don't watch a lot of TV or movies, and so a lot of my plans are ones that I've watched growing up, because now I don't know, I watch a lot of YouTube but not a lot of like actual TV. So yeah, but of course, if you have any requests or anything that you would like to see, definitely leave them in the comments of any video. And if the inspiration strikes me, then I will definitely try it out. But here you can see I'm moving on to the interior. I wanted to do the kitchen first, and that's basically because I was worried about the size of the room and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. So I wanted to place everything to see how it was going to look. And once I started placing all of the furniture, I was like, okay, I really actually like the way this looks, and I think the kitchen came together really nicely. There's a huge island, tons of counter space, there's a breakfast table, like everything that you would need. So I'm actually really happy that it ended up being this big, because normally I think my kitchens are about maybe half this size or smaller, and sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to leave enough counter space to make it, a functioning kitchen, but also to make it look lived in and cluttered and decorated like I like. So I was happy to be able to do both of that. And then down here, there's also the living room, the dining room. There's a hallway, entryway area with a few activities. There's a seating area and some bookcases, and then also a game table so your Sims can sit and play. Some card games. It's a Don't Wake the Llama table, so you could actually place the Don't Wake the Llama game on top of it if you Actually, I think you can do that as an interaction with the table. So yeah, lots of options there. And then there's also a laundry room and a bathroom down here just off of the kitchen. So you'll see that in just a moment. But here I'm just picking out some wall decorations and things to clutter up this kitchen with. And yeah, like I said, I just love how lived in it looks, like all of the different decorations. I was trying to make this like kind of look like an older family's house, like an elderly couple's house. And honestly, while I was building this and decorating the interior, I was trying to figure out if I wanted George to have a family or if I wanted him to live here by himself. Because I don't know, it's kind of a struggle taking a pre-made sim and changing their story to fit like my own vision of the game and trying to make it make sense. I don't know. I don't know if I'm explaining myself that well, but yeah, I wasn't sure if moving him was like a really good idea or giving him a family was a good idea. So as I was building it, I was trying to figure that all out. But I think for me, it's the best way that I want to go. But of course, if you guys don't like it and you download the save file, just delete his family, and you could delete him too and move into his house, or you could maybe play a story where you kill him. You could definitely do that, or just wait for him to die because he's an elder sim. So whatever you would like to do, you know, the game is, I was going to say the world is your oyster, but the game is your oyster. Does that make sense? I don't think it does, but you know what? I said it, so we're going to go with it. But here you can see I decorated the laundry room, and then here's the bathroom. It's just a simple bathroom. There's no shower or bathtub. It's just a toilet and sink, half bath type of thing. And the laundry room is pretty simple too, but of course it has everything that you need. And then for the rest of the house, you may have noticed when I was working out the floor plan, I picked out some flooring and wallpaper, thinking that that's what I wanted to go with, but I decided to get rid of it, and I went with this flooring that we got from Island Living. I really like this flooring because it looks so rustic, and I wanted this house to feel pretty old, and I feel like with these floorboards, they just look a little bit weathered and older, like maybe they've been here a bit longer, so I definitely liked that. But here is the hallway leading to the kitchen and the dining room. I just do a seating area over here with a couple of bookcases, so you could sit and read. And then I also have a couple of paintings that we got with Strangerville of some airplanes, and I thought that suited the whole, you know, story of him being a pilot pretty nicely. And then I wanted to fit this radio in the hallway too, but I ended up moving it into the dining room, and then I ended up using it again in the living room just because I liked it so much and I felt like it suited the build. It's such like an old classic style that I thought worked really nicely in this house. And then here in the dining room, I decided to include a fireplace. I wanted to put a fireplace in the living room too, but I did not have a great spot to put it. I mean, maybe if I would have switched up the windows or something, because I really do not like putting fireplaces underneath the window because I feel like that's so unrealistic, because you would have the chimney right behind it and not a window. So yeah, I did have to switch that up here in the dining room, but I think it looks really nice. And then here I thought about using those same chairs that I used in the kitchen, but I ended up using these ones that we got with Discovery University. I thought the color was perfect for this house. This room did look too brown to me, so I do switch up the majority of the wallpaper to be more like a yellow brown color. It's still very brown, but it's not as overwhelming in my opinion. So yeah, I really liked that. And then I hung up this painting, and I thought that maybe it was because the guy in the painting kind of looks like he could possibly be a pilot. I mean, I think he's supposed to be a sailor with his dog because it came from Cats and Dogs, and the outfit kind of looks like a sailor, but it kind of also looks like maybe it could be a military uniform. And so maybe it's George when he was younger. I don't know if it's that realistic to have that like a giant self-portrait of yourself, or maybe it was like maybe they had a son that died. Oh, I didn't think about this till now. Maybe they had a son before their child, or, well, yeah, obviously before if they're a teenager. My goodness. But maybe their son was also in the military and he passed away. Oh, I like that idea. Let me know what you guys think. That would add a little bit more depth to the family, possibly. I was going to say maybe some drama or mystery, but maybe it's not that mysterious. It's a bit dramatic, but I think it adds some depth to the story. And maybe that's a portrait of their son and their dog too that passed away. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But here I really wanted to put the closet underneath the staircase, but it was clipping through on the other side, as you can see here. And I don't know, I probably could have painted the staircase a dark brown color, but I didn't think that would look that good. I mean, maybe it would have covered up the part that was clipping through and made it not so noticeable, but I just hung up a mirror instead and decided just to ignore it, and I think that was probably the best way to go about it. But over here is going to be the living room, and I got to use these couches that came from Discovery University, and I love these couches so much. I love the patterns and like the colors. I mean, the majority of the colors are a bit, I don't know how to describe them. They're not the right colors that I would probably choose for these couches, because there's like a pink and a pale blue, which I don't really mind. I think what bothers me the most is that there's no pillows. Oh, I should have done the chair trick that I was talking about. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I need to do that eventually. But yeah, I felt like the green worked really nicely for this build, and just hung up some artwork, and then I have a grandfather clock in here. I think I used a grandfather clock in this build like 4 times or something. So yeah, I used them quite a bit. But here I'm doing a trick with the coffee table, this base game coffee table. If you place it over and over and overlap it, it actually creates a really nice round coffee table, and it doesn't have any weird clipping. Like it goes together seamlessly. So I actually really like it. And then here I'm just picking out some other decorations to put on the coffee table and the side table, like some books and flowers. And then here in a moment, I do decide to use that radio again. And I thought about putting the TV on top of it. I think maybe if it was closed and it didn't have the top of it open, maybe it would have looked a little bit better, but trying to fit it on the side did not look quite right, because I really wanted to use a smaller, older looking TV, since this is supposed to be like an elderly couple's house. I thought that would look more realistic. So yeah, I think it actually works out nicely. But here I'm moving on to the entryway, and this is the Don't Wake the Llama table that I put over here just to have another activity. I do have a chess table in this build too that I end up putting on the front porch, I think towards the very end of the video. But yeah, I thought it was nice to have another activity in here, and I thought about using this cart that we got from, I believe it was, what is that pack called? The one where we got the butler. I cannot remember the name of it, but I thought about putting that over there, but it looked too fancy for this build, so I decided not to. Here I'm just moving the flooring and wallpapers on to the upstairs, and I do decorate this bathroom. First, it's a really large bathroom. You could probably even make a smaller bathroom somewhere else and turn this into another bedroom. Like, I think this would be a perfectly good size for a bedroom. So yeah, all of the rooms in this house I feel like are pretty oversized. Well, besides the dining room and the living room. They're both kind of small considering the scale of the other rooms, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. But either way, I think this bathroom is really nice. I got a stand-up shower in here. I also got the clawfoot bathtub. I do end up switching it out for another one that has kind of like this higher lip on the end of it. You'll see it later on. It's not that big of a change, but for whatever reason, this one was kind of not looking right to me. I don't know exactly what it is, but I felt like that change made it look a little bit better. But here I'm just picking out some decorations to clutter up the counter with, just, you know, random bathroom decorations. So not that big of a deal. But here I'm just switching up the bathtub. For whatever reason, yeah, it just did not look exactly right to me. And I think that one just looked a little bit better. I'm not sure if it really does, but either way, in the moment, I thought it did. And then here in the hallway, I just have a side table with some artwork and a painting. I think I get another, no, I don't. I was going to put another clock in here, but I end up putting a corner shelf here in just a moment. It's not that exciting. I mean, it's a hallway. There's not that much to say about it, but I still think it looks nice. And I was really wanting to use a statue from Jungle Adventure, but I couldn't find one that I thought suited this build. So the decorative plate worked really nicely. And then here I'm just finding a corner shelf to put over here, and then I hang up a piece of artwork. And I did want to place something above the stairs over here on this wall, but I don't know, I couldn't find any painting or mirror, anything that looked like it filled in the space nicely. So I just decided to leave it alone. And then I add a few more pieces of artwork. It's kind of cluttered, but you know, for a hallway, I think it looks really nice. And then over here is going to be the master bedroom. And this room I did leave pretty simple. I felt like it matched the rest of the house really nicely. I mean, all of the areas in this house are pretty matchy-matchy. Even the kids' room ends up being kind of matchy to the rest of the house. I mean, it has more orange. than the rest of the house. But other than that, I think it matches. And then the other bedroom, the spare room, that's also the wife's studio, has more blue in it, but it still kind of matches too. But yeah, either way, I think this room turns out really nice. I thought this bed from Cats and Dogs worked perfectly in here because of course it came in the brown and the green color scheme, so it matched everything really nicely. And then I also wanted to have this display case for the medals, and I filled it all up with all of the medals because, I mean, he's an elder, he's been in the military career, I imagine, since he was probably in his late teens to early 20s, something like that. So he's been in the military career his entire life. So I feel like he's collected all of the medals by now. He's very high ranked. And then over here, I do decorate the top of the dresser with a bunch of clutter items, just trying to make it look fully decorated and nice and cluttered like I like to do. There's also a walk-in closet in here and then an ensuite bathroom. The ensuite bathroom is very similar to the rest of the bathrooms in the build, as I used the same toilet and counters and tile and everything. And I really like doing that. I feel like it makes the houses look really cohesive. There's been a few times where I've done builds where I've done different tiles in the different rooms, like the bathrooms compared to the kitchen. And sometimes I really like it and I feel like I should do it more often, but most of the time when I build, I feel like it just looks so much more cohesive when they all match. Do you guys agree? I don't know. I think it's when you look at the build from like when the walls are half cut away and you see everything as a whole. Sometimes it just looks better that way. Maybe it's not that important. Maybe it's just me being picky and it doesn't really matter that much, but I don't know. Sometimes I think it does. But yeah, I decided to use this clawfoot bathtub that has the shower. I thought that looked really nice in there. And then here I'm just picking out some wallpaper for the other rooms and then moving on to the kids' room. In here, I decided to actually go a bit orange. At first, I was going to go very boring and do green and brown like I did the rest of the house. But then I thought that I should probably make the room for a kid that loves dinosaurs and maybe all sort of like creatures. Like I also put a dragon stuffed animal in here, and then I think a few other things that are not as realistic obviously as dinosaurs, but they're into like big creatures. But dinosaurs is definitely the main theme, and the curtains that I use have tiny little images of dinosaurs, and I think it took me forever. I'm not sure when actually I like noticed that there was dinosaurs on those curtains, but it was only like a year ago or something. I'm not exactly sure when, but either way, I thought that it was kind of fun to go along with that idea, and I used a lot of like tree decals in here and different dinosaur related thing. I also used that fossil on the side table, which I thought was pretty cute, and I think this is actually a really fun kid's bedroom. Oh yeah, I also used that poster that has the Loch Ness sort of monster on it. I forget what they're called in The Sims. There's a specific name because I think off the island in Windenburg you can spot it. I've never seen it in game. I think it's kind of rare to be able to see it. Let me know if you guys have seen it, but yeah, there is a sort of Loch Ness monster off of the island. So I feel like the kid is even into all of those things. Maybe there's a Sims Bigfoot that they're obsessed with, and I also thought this kid should be a Boy Scout, so I put the little Cub Scout board in here, or Scout board, whatever you want to call it. And then they also have a desk, and I clutter up the desk with a lot of different decorations. And since the University of Britechester has the dragon as their mascot, I thought that maybe they want to go to that university someday. Even though that's not the science university, they still want to go there because of the mascot. And the reason I was wanting it to be more of like a science university is, I mean, if they're into dinosaurs, maybe they want to be an archaeologist or they want to be a biologist or something like that, but maybe they could just study history or something at the University of Britechester. I mean, of course, they could study the sciences too. They're just not the prestigious degrees. So that's what I was thinking. And then over here, I felt like the area looked a little bit empty, and I decided to give them a fish and a frog on top of another bookcase. They have like 3 bookcases in here, but this was a really big kid's bedroom, and I needed to fill in the space somehow. Of course, if you wanted to put like a dollhouse in here or the building block table or anything like that, I mean, there's a ton of space to be able to do that. And also I used that My Sims doll that looks like a little caveman. I thought that was perfect. Like, it just worked so nicely. Like, this little kid is just totally obsessed with all of that kind of stuff. So I thought that was super cute. But here I'm moving on to the spare bedroom. So like I was mentioning earlier about the idea that maybe that portrait above the fireplace is their their son that passed away in the military, and maybe that really like added to their divide in their relationship. Like, it did not bring them together at all. It caused a rift because maybe George pushed him into the military career and his wife kind of resents him for doing that, because obviously if he hadn't have pushed him into the military career, then he would still be here. I love this idea. I think that's a lot of fun. Let me know if you guys agree. So maybe this used to be his bedroom and now his wife has taken it over as her art studio. You'll see over here in like this, because this is a really weird shaped room. So this little like nook area on this side of the room, I decorate with an art easel and then also a computer desk. So this is just kind of her space to do some painting and unwind and, you know, just kind of be by herself. Like I said, I'm not sure if she does this for a living or if she has another job, so let me know your guys' opinions on that. But yeah, I really like the way it turned out. At first I thought it was going to maybe look a little bit awkward, but I think it worked out really nicely. There's also a little patio area or a little balcony off of this room that I put a couple of chairs and just a side table, nothing too crazy. I mean, it's a very small balcony, so I didn't want to clutter it up with like a bunch of things and make it, you know, not usable at all. So you could probably add maybe another art easel out there if you wanted to do some painting off of the balcony, or a little flower pot if you wanted to do some gardening or something. But I think it looks really cute with just the side table and a couple of chairs, and it's nice and simple. And yeah, I really like it with the candle and the flower pot. I thought it was pretty cute. But that's basically it for all of the bedrooms and the interior. Besides the attic space, I do decide to add a little gaming table off of the child's room because there's a balcony over there. There's no balcony off of the master bedroom, which is probably not ideal, but I decided it wasn't that big of a deal. But here on the front porch, I add a bench and a couple of flower pots, and then I add a chest table over here too. I decided not to completely like clutter up the porch like crazy. I thought leaving it simple was the better idea. But here, moving on to the attic space, I really wish we had ladders so you could climb a ladder to go up to the attic space. I feel like that makes so much more sense rather than having a whole nother staircase leading up to the attic space. I mean, it's 2020 now. Maybe we will get one this year. I would love ladders. I would be so excited. But yeah, like I mentioned, this is going to be George's workspace. He spends a lot of time up here, and recently I feel like he's just retreated to this area a lot more. He's always working and going through papers and just, you know, he's really involved in whatever's going on in Strangerville. Like I said, I don't know if he knows what's going on. I feel like he probably should. If he works for the military career, he's probably like been working on some of these things. Maybe he's behind it a little bit, or maybe he's been in the dark and he's trying to figure out what his work is up to exactly and what's going on with his town. I don't know. I feel like there's so many different ways you could go with it, and I don't know which way I want to, so definitely leave your guys' opinions. But other than that, I wanted it to look like an attic space, so they have a Christmas tree up here. They have different decorations that kind of look like random clutter that you might leave in your attic. And I left that little turret space empty because I could not figure out what to put up here. I thought about putting maybe a dollhouse or some sort of child's activity because I thought it'd be cute if the kid came up here to play. But I did want this to be more of the, you know, George's space where he goes to kind of get away and work, and so I didn't know if I wanted anybody else to come up here. So I'm gonna leave that space empty. You guys can definitely put whatever you would like in there to, I don't know, to suit your guys' needs a little bit more. But other than that, I'm just adding a few more decorations to make it look more like an attic. I put a punching bag in here so he could relieve some frustrations, because I think he actually has some fitness skill. Yeah, I actually didn't mention any of his skills, but he has some fitness skill, some writing skill, and charisma. He is active, hot-headed, paranoid, and he wants to be a public enemy, and he's unemployed. But like I said, I'm going to put him in the military career. But anyways, this is it for the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this build, and let me know your guys' opinions on all of the stuff that I talked about. Hopefully it wasn't too much. But anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy the screenshots. Thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
I wanna close my eyes and go back, play it in my mind. A movie of us two, yeah, we were happy at the time. Can't remember what it felt like. We used to be so strong. That picture perfect sky now and looks so gray and cold. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. Do you remember when we went to Paris in July? Got stuck out in the rain, but we danced around and didn't mind it. So young and reckless, baby, you and I fit just like a glove, but I guess that's over now. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. and you haven't said a word to me. Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. If it's over, just say it out loud. Say those words, go ahead, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over. We've been laying here since 4 a.m. Silent treatment, is this what it feels